down, but everyone can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay, just making sure.
I'm gonna close it. Anyone want to move up? Last chance.
No, we'll take our chances.
Alright, watch your hands and feet. Doors are sliding shut. Alright, let's see. Doors are both broken.
Asante san awarded, and as we like to say here in Harambe, twin day, that means let's go. How's everyone doing today? Good? You guys are a little far back there. It's okay. This microphone works pretty well. A couple of safety reminders before we get out onto the reserve here. I am driving this truck and these roads can be a little bit bumpy, so I do ask that you remain seated at all times. This is a picture safari, so go ahead, take pictures, but hold on to those cameras pretty tightly. We don't want them to fall overboard. If you look above you, you're going to see an animal spotting guide. Those are all the animals that we have out here on the reserve. We're not going to see all of them, but I think I have some pretty good luck. If you do have questions, I do ask that you hold them till the very end and ask me once you disembark the truck. Right hand side here, this is an okapi. Okapis have what look like zebra stripes on their legs, but they're actually not related to the zebra at all. They're the closest relative of the giraffe. A lot of the animals that call this forest their home do a pretty good job hiding in the bushes. So I invite you to look up and look around to see what you can find. As we come around this corner, we get to play my favorite game here on the safaris. It's called Is It a Rock or Is It a Rhino? So let's find out. Left hand side here, what do you guys think? Rock or rhino? Rhino, yeah, good job. This is a black rhinoceros. They can get up to 5,000 pounds. Even though they're very large, they don't always have it so easy because rhinos are often poached for their horns. Some people believe that rhino horn has a medicinal value. However, it's not scientifically proven. It's actually made out of the same thing as our fingernails, which is keratin. So it's kind of like they have a giant fingernail on top of their nose. Have you guys all ridden the safari before? Yes? No first timers?
This one.
Oh, well, welcome. Hopefully you can see some cool animals. Left hand side here, with this darker rust color with those white stripes, these are bongos. Bongos are often nicknamed the ghost of the forest because at night they use those bushes to hide pretty well. They're actually pretty much built for hiding because those horns there help them from getting caught in those bushes. We're going to be heading out of the Little Aturi Forest and down into the Safi River. The Safi River is home to one of my favorite birds, the pink-backed pelican. Now you guys might be thinking, Lexi, why is your favorite bird a pelican? You can find those on the beach in Miami. Well, these are a different type of pelicans. These pelicans are quite small, and if you look at the canopy on top of your head, from left to right is their wingspan. So a pretty large wingspan for such a small bird. Right hand side here, these are male Nile hippopotamus. You can kind of see their eyes sticking out by that tree trunk there. If you aren't on the right hand side, you can also take a look over to the left hand side. This is a bloat of hippos. Hippos in a group are called a bloat, which I think is pretty fitting. Hippos are born at 85 pounds and can reach 5,500 pounds. They stay submerged underwater for about 8 minutes before they come up for another breath of air. That bird sitting there is the pink-backed pelican. I also think they're cool because if they shake their head, they get a mohawk, but that's besides the point. Coming around the corner here, we're coming up on Crocodile Bridge. Left hand side here, these are Nile crocodile. If you see a Nile crocodile with their mouth open, that's how they keep themselves cool. Those Nile crocodiles crocodile come in at 16 feet long and can run 10 miles an hour on the riverbank. If you would like a comparison, this truck will go 8 miles an hour at the fastest. As we come around the corner here, we're going to be heading down into the Savannah. The Savannah is home to one of my favorite animals, the giraffe. If you look up on your animal spotting guide in the very center there, you're going to see a reticulated giraffe. However, the giraffes we have out here on our reserve are Maasai giraffes. You can tell the difference between a reticulated and Maasai giraffe because the reticulated giraffe has a little bit more uniform of a pattern, where the Maasai giraffe's pattern is a little bit more jagged, which I think makes them a little bit cooler looking. A way that you can help the elephants on the savannah is by recycling your cell phone batteries. Your cell phone batteries have a mineral in them called coltan, which is often mined for in these animals' habitats. Sometimes the smallest changes that we make a big difference for those animals out in the wild. Coming up, I see a couple animals on the right-hand side here. That very large animal in the back there with those large horns, that is an Ankole cattle. Ankole cattle are shown as a sign of wealth in Africa. They have those very large horns that look to be quite dense, but they're actually made out of a honeycomb-like structure, which their blood circulates through to keep them cool. It's kind of like they have a personal air conditioning unit on top of the head. Sitting on the ground there, kind of look like a s'more, like graham cracker, chocolate, marshmallow. Yeah, those are springbok. Springbok are small, but they are pretty athletic. They can jump up to 6 feet in the air and run 50 to 60 miles an hour. That's almost cheetah level there. One of our big conservation focuses here is human encroachment on animal habitat. That's why recycling your cell phone batteries is so important. We want to make sure that we're not encroaching on these animal habitats so that they're not destroying habitats that are considered ours. Right and left-hand side here, these mounds kind of look like clay. They're actually termite mounds. Termite mounds are about as hard as concrete, and larger animals use them as scratching posts. Gonna get some pretty good looks at these Maasai giraffe here. Maasai giraffe are the tallest animal in the world. They start at 6 feet tall when they're born and can grow up to 20 feet tall. We're a little bit too close to them for me to make a full stop, but I'll go by as slow as I can. Giraffes spend most of their day eating and only spend about 30 minutes a day sleeping. They do their sleeping standing up. You can kind of see around here that these trees are all at pretty much the same level. That's because giraffes are pretty much the same size here. They have very long prehensile tongues, which allow them to grasp the leaves off the very top of the trees. Looks like we have a little bit of a giraffe jam here. Thank you, I'm here all night.
Yeah, he's got the right of way.
You can really see their spots there and how they're not so uniform like the giraffes that you normally see.
It's nice though. We've seen it.
Giraffes actually have the same amount of vertebrae as we do, but their necks are made out of ball and socket joints, which is what our shoulders are made out of them. So that's why they can move so freely. You can really see that giraffe using their very long prehensile tongue there to get those leaves off the top of that tree. Giraffes' tongues are also colored in a darker coloration, usually blue or black. This is because their tongues spend so much time in the sun all day, so it's like they're natural sun protected for it. Right-hand side here, this abundance of animals is called a white bearded wildebeest. white bearded wildebeest are the second most densely populated mammal, with humans coming in as the first. Fun fact about the wildebeest is when it comes to nighttime for them, they lay very close to each other, but facing different directions, so if they get startled or sense danger, they can run away without running into each other. Looks like there's some broken down trees around here. That must mean that we're getting closer to elephant territory. Elephants tend to break down their trees to receive the leaves from the very top and the very bottom all at once. Do see a male elephant here on the right hand side. I am seeing a male elephant here because males are most likely going to be found by themselves because the females stay in their herds. Let's see if we can get a closer look at that elephant here. Looks like the shortcut that I took this morning is closed, but that does make sense because there is an elephant standing directly in the way. You see elephants flapping their ears like that? It's their way of cooling themselves down. It's kind of like how we wave our hands in front of our faces. Since my shortcut is closed, we are going to have to take the longer scenic route, but that's okay. This scenic route does involve a rickety old bridge, but I was prepared, so I did zip tie this bridge this morning, so we should be fine. Well, I don't know about you guys, but at least I'll be fine. I'm in the very front of the truck, and I have the easiest access out with these doors here. And I made it. How'd everyone else do? The zip ties hold up pretty well? You guys don't seem too sure. Have you guys had your morning coffee yet today? No? Oh, that's why.
That's it.
Right and left hand side, these are red clay pits. Elephants will scratch their tusks up against these red clay pits to release vitamins and minerals they don't get from their regular vegetation diet. Left hand side here, behind this tree you can see one of those African elephants. Something that Disney and other conservationists have done to help those elephants out in the wild is share the information that elephants are afraid of bees with those farmers in Kenya. Farmers in Kenya were having problems with elephants destroying their crops, so they shared this information and those farmers built beehive fences around their farms. This gave the farmers a new source of income, which was honey, and also prevented those wild elephants from destroying their crops in a humane way. Right and left hand side here, these trees that kind of look like they're upside down are called baobab trees. They don't have leaves on them, and this is to conserve water. These trees are often given the nickname the tree of life, and this is because animals can scratch the bark off to receive that water when they're in a drought. Kind of see it to the left hand side here. Let's see if I can pull around enough. Just directly to the right of that tree, and you might have to do like kind of like an owl turn to see that one back there. You can see how those elephants are moving their trunks pretty freely. This is because they have up to 100,000 muscles in their trunk. Coming up on the left-hand side here, this is a flamboyance of greater flamingo. Yes, a flamboyance is what they call a group of flamingo. Pretty cool, I think. These are the lightest color and the largest size of the flamingo species, weighing in at about 9 pounds. These flamingos get their light coloration from the type of shrimp they eat, which is called brine shrimp. It's high in beta carotene. If you do want to learn a little bit more about these elephants, there's another opportunity. It's called Caring for Giants. It is available at an additional charge, but they show you how they care for these animals, especially the elephants here on the reserve, and what they can do to help those elephants out in the wild with the ones that are here on the reserve. Another thing that you can do to help these animals at home is by reducing, reusing, and recycling. A lot of people don't think that this is a big deal, but it does add up. What also a lot of people don't know is that you should reduce, reuse, and recycle in that order. You want to reduce your recyclable waste before you reuse it and before you recycle it again, keeping the chain smaller and smaller every time you redo it. Coming up on the left-hand side here, you count 1, 2, 3, 4 trees over. Very front there, that is a male lion. You can tell the difference between a male and female lion because the male has a mane where the female doesn't. That female lion there is just to the right hand side. There's actually 2 of them. When we come around the corner here, you'll be able to see them a little bit better. Lions are nocturnal animals, which means they are night active. So usually during the day, you're going to see them sleeping. They use these copy rock formations to help them find their prey. Unlike cheetahs, lions will actually sneak up on their prey instead of chasing them. They have these very large padded paws, which help them do that. No, it's a little bit sunny, but best view of those female lions there. Coming up here on the left-hand side, these are warthogs. Warthogs are the largest burrowing creature. They also back into their burrows to show off their razor-sharp tusks. Those holes in the ground in front there are their burrows. On the right-hand side here, on the ground, you see some eggs. These are ostrich eggs. They take about 45 days to hatch. And it's also said that a full-size man can stand on top of one of those eggs without it breaking. Also on your right-hand side here, this is a crash of white rhinoceros. Crash is what they call a group of white rhinos. White rhinos get their name from the Afrikaans word wijd, which means wide, because they have a wide mouth. Wijd got mistranslated into white, which is why they're called the white rhinoceros now. White rhinoceros are not as solitary as black rhinoceroses, which is why they don't call a group of black rhinoceros a crash, because you're usually not going to see them with each other. on your left-hand side here, on the top of that hill, this is a scimitar horned oryx. Scimitar horned oryx get most of the water they consume from the vegetation that they eat. They can go weeks to months without drinking from a watering source because of this. They have that very light coat, which helps reflect the sun. It takes to about 115 degrees outside before these animals start to sweat. Definitely an attribute that I wish I had. This road here is a little bit bumpy. Definitely no way of getting around those bumps there. It does look like we are going to be coming to the end of our safari here. That's when you're supposed to go, aww. Aww, I know, so sad. If you do want to see some more animals today before you leave, you can head over to Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. When you exit, you're actually going to be at the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail, so you can just continue walking down. Over there you'll find some animals like gorillas, meerkats, zebras, and some other type of birds. You can take everything that you brought with you today, your scooters, your strollers, your everything you brought. There are also some animal experts down there on that trail, which are pretty knowledgeable about the animals that they're standing in front of. So if you have any questions about those animals, feel free to ask. They love to answer all questions. What? Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I could not hear through those water. What'd you say?
Her shift starts at 11. She's the expert over there.
Oh. These two docks here on the right-hand side are not going to be the docks that we're stopping at. If you want to say Jambo to our friend here on the dock, that means hello in Swahili. So if you want to say hi, go ahead. But we are going to be passing this dock here. Jambo.